Happy birthday, America. So tomorrow you're going to be 248 years old. Okay, you have been through a lot as a country. Most people throughout the world, they refer to America as the leader of the free world, the number one nation on earth, the country with the most freedom for its citizens, a country built on democracy. What if I told you that America is a nation that's falling to pieces? What if I told you that woke Marxist media indoctrination is destroying this country from inside out? Let me give you some examples. Who is Tony Timpa? Any of you guys ever heard of Tony Timpa? Okay, I bet you haven't. Do you know why? Tony Timpa is a unarmed 32-year-old American civilian from Dallas, Texas. He was murdered by the Dallas Police Department when the Dallas police applied excess force during his arrest. However, every single mainstream media news outlet censored this story. Do you guys want to know why? Because Tony Timpa is a heterosexual white male. So every single news source censored the murder of Tony Timpa. Isn't that quite interesting? Okay, I have another question, okay? We have all seen the issue at the border. I think Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, along with Alejandro Mayorkas, they've let in something like 10 million illegal aliens into the United States, right? I have a question for you. How many illegal aliens did Barack Obama deport during his 8 years of presidency? Do any of you guys know? I bet none of you guys know because it was never reported on the news. Barack Obama was known in Mexico and Latin America as the king of deporters. By the way, that's the right decision, okay? Barack Obama in 8 years deported 3 million illegal aliens. How many did Trump deport? Okay, any of you guys know? Trump in 4 years deported roughly 800,000. How interesting is that? Barack Obama, 8 years deported 3 million. Trump deports 800,000 in 4 years. Everybody loses their mind in the mainstream media. Everybody calls him a racist, an Islamophobe, okay, a transphobe, a misogynist, a dictator, a Hitler wannabe. Now, I found that to be quite interesting. I have another question for you guys. Which US president absolutely bombed the shit out of the Middle East? Which US president dropped the most ammunitions in a single calendar year? Who do you guys think it is? Is it George Bush? Is it Lyndon B. Johnson? No, it's Barack Obama. Barack Obama absolutely bombed the shit out of the Middle East. I've mentioned in previous videos before, obviously there's an issue in the Islamic world, but I can guarantee you this, 80% of their problems comes directly from the United States. People in the West always tell you guys, how great we are as a society. We built the best civilization in the world, the most advanced civilization in the world, the wealthiest civilization in the world. That's why everybody in the world wants to come here. Okay, I have another question for you. So you acknowledge all of these accomplishments, right? No, I agree. The West did a lot of amazing things, okay? But are you guys also going to take accountability for what happened in the past? The Vietnam War, dropping napalms on innocent civilians, spraying Agent Orange, causing fish skin, causing cancer, causing genetic mutations on local Vietnamese women and children, My Lai massacre. Absolute zero accountability. What happened in Laos? What happened in Cambodia? Nuclear bombing of Hiroshima, of Nagasaki, covert operations. Patrice Lumumba, the first democratically elected president of Congo, he was assassinated by the CIA under the orders of Allen Dulles. No accountability. The war in Syria, the war in Afghanistan, invasion of Iraq in 2003, killing between 1 to 2 million innocent Iraqi civilians, okay? Where are the weapons of mass destruction? Has anybody found them yet? Are you guys also going to take accountability for what happened in Iraq? See, every time you bring up these war crimes, slavery, colonization, all of these things that happened, okay? These people from the West, they will tell you that, these things happen worldwide, everywhere. See, you can't have this double standard, okay? If you want the rest of the world to acknowledge you for all of your accomplishments, then you also must face the consequences of all of your war crimes, okay? There's no double standard in this. Okay, let me ask you another question. People keep saying that, America is a democracy, okay? First of all, America is not a democracy because in a democracy, the majority rules, right? So if 95% of the population, they don't want this insane 2S LGBTQNAI++ agenda to be pushed in the mainstream media and in your public education systems, How come this agenda is everywhere in our society? It's being shoved in our faces every single day. In a democracy, shouldn't the majority rule? This is where many people are wrong. America is not a democracy. For example, what if, let's say, you're in a tiny village of maybe 1,000 people, and let's just say, for example, all 1,000 of these people, they're white supremacists, okay? And a black family moves in and opens up a little bakery, okay? They want to make a living. They want to be able to feed their children, okay? However, these 1,000 white supremacists, they have a vote at the city council. They say that, you know what? Why don't we just murder this black family that moved in because we don't want them in our community. See, if America was a democracy where the majority rules, this innocent black family would simply be murdered. So it is because of this, America had to make some changes. America, it's a constitutional republic. Okay, it is because of scenarios like this, America had to add the Constitution to their legal system. So remember that America is not a democracy; it is a constitutional republic. How come schools and mainstream media don't teach this? And in America, you keep talking about you have diversity, you have equity, you have inclusion, you have all these amazing programs in place, you have affirmative action. Okay, I have a question for you, okay? He keeps saying that we need more black representation. We need especially women of color. If you want more black women so bad, why don't you invite Candace Owens to speak at the White House? Why don't you hire Candace Owens as a guest speaker on CNN or MSNBC or NBC News? Well, she's a black woman, right? So why won't you invite somebody like her? And Joe Biden keeps talking about Ketanji Brown Jackson. Oh, we have the first black woman on the U.S. Supreme Court. Do you know who came along long before Ketanji Brown Jackson? There was another black woman. Her name was Janice Brown Rogers. She was first appointed by George Bush, okay, to be on the U.S. Supreme Court. Janice Brown Rogers, she grew up in the deep segregated South, okay? Guess who rejected her nomination? Joseph Robinette Biden. Isn't that interesting? Don't they want more diversity? Don't they want more black people? Don't they want more black women? In fact, Janice Brown Rogers was nominated twice to the U.S. Supreme Court, and she was twice filibustered by Joseph Robinette Biden. You guys know why she was twice filibustered? Because Janice Brown Rogers is a conservative. She's also a Republican, okay? And she was raised in the rural, deep, segregated South by a single mother. And she knows the extreme hardships of growing up in a single-parent household. And she spoke up publicly against Lyndon B. Johnson, against the millions of black Americans being raised by single mothers, against the black mothers collecting pensions from the government. She's against diversity, equity, and inclusion. And she's against affirmative action. She's saying that these programs are actually destroying the black community. And her main goal was to bring the black father back into black families in America. But she was filibustered twice by Joe Biden. You see, they talk about diversity, equity, inclusion. It's all 100% bullshit, okay? You can have a bunch of people that's coming from a multicultural background that have different religions. But these people, they can all think the same. They can all act the same, okay? They actually want conformity. They don't want a diversity of opinion. Because that's what the Western society is, really. Because to you, conformity is actually freedom. To you, oligarchy is actually a democracy. You tell people you built the best system in the world. Okay, explain to me this, okay? If your system is so great, how come that 24 million children in America are currently being raised by single mothers? How is that the best society in the world? How is that the best system in the world? You claim to have the best society in the world. However, over half of your marriages end up in divorce. Is a marriage supposed to be a contract that's binding for life, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, for richer and for poorer? What the hell happened to your marriage vows? You tell women that it is okay to rack up a body count of 175 during your years in college. Then after you graduate, you can become a born-again virgin. And this will have no consequences for the rest of your life. This will not harm your relationship or your marriage. Yeah, that's the free and democratic West for you. I don't want to make this video too long. This video is meant to be a preview for my series that's coming up in August, okay? I'm going to go on a election special 2024 mode. My goal is to destroy the narrative of the mainstream media. Everything you have been told is a lie. Everything about China, everything about Russia, about Ukraine, about the Middle East, okay? Look up what's happening to the Palestinian Christians, okay? So for the next 2-3 weeks, I mentioned before, I will release a mini series on the 30 divorces in my family. The next video will be extremely long. It will be my most difficult and emotional upload. I thought long and hard about making my next video, but I think it's extremely important to get this message out. I'm going to tell you guys the severe consequences of this divorce and fatherless epidemic and the severe consequences it has on the next generation. And after that, I will kick off my election special with a full-length documentary on the consequences of secularism. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys Friday. It's going to be my most important upload on this channel yet.